The White Lotus Season 3, Episode 3, The Meaning of Dreams, briefly features a callback to Season 1's iconic theme song, which was notably changed for the intro titles of the current season. The White Lotus Season 3, Episode 3, leans more heavily into the mystical and spiritual themes of its Thailand location, featuring several instances of atmospheric and tropically infused sounds in its musical score, created by composer Cristobal Tapia de Villa. The White Lotus Season 3, Episode 3 saw several character developments, particularly between Rick Hatchett and his mysterious interest in the resort owner Shritala, Timothy Ratliff and his disastrous money laundering scheme with Kenny Nguyen, and Belinda approaching Greg, who goes by Gary, about meeting him at the White Lotus Resort in Maui. The return of the White Lotus Season 1 intro music has several implications for the past and future of two particular characters, Greg and Belinda, the only ones from Season 1 to appear in the current season. The White Lotus Season 1's theme song highlights the importance of Belinda and Greg's story. Belinda trying to expose Greg looks to be a major Season 3 storyline. The White Lotus Season 3 EP 3-49. Image via Max. The White Lotus Season 1 theme song appearing in the White Lotus Season 3, Episode 3 is certainly no coincidence. It's presumably not just a musical reference but feels like it's telling viewers how important this chance encounter between Greg and Belinda is to the Season 3 plot. Belinda is not going to be convinced by Gary saying he doesn't know her and isn't who she thinks. The fact it comes in the same episode that references Tanya's death is quite telling. It makes it seem even more like the past will come back to haunt Gary. Based on the White Lotus Season 3, Episode 4 teaser trailer, Belinda is going to dive deep into discovering Greg's past, which will inevitably place her in danger. Considering that Greg tried to have Tanya killed at the end of the White Lotus Season 2, the more Belinda looks into his past and connection to Tanya's death, the more unlikely it will be that Belinda makes it out of the season alive. Greg is slippery and lethal if provoked, making him a major threat to Belinda. However, Belinda is bright, perceptive, and honest, which should give her an advantage in exposing Gary as the real reason why Tanya is dead. Gary's plan to kill Tanya didn't actually work, but Tanya ended up dying anyway after falling to her death trying to escape Greg's friend Quentin's yacht, where Greg had planned to have Quentin murder Tanya. Is Greg going to try to kill Belinda? Greg is one of Season 3's biggest threats. The White Lotus Season 3 EP 3-48. Image via Max. Given Greg's past of trying to have Tanya killed to inherit her wealth, he is certainly not above trying to kill Belinda. He would likely take protective measures to distance himself from the actual murder, as he did with Tanya. If Greg linked up with the suspicious Valentin, who appeared to be in on the jewelry robbery in Season 3, Episode 2, it's plausible that Greg could convince someone like Valentin to take care of Belinda for the right price. It appears that Greg is living off Tanya's wealth as he originally planned, so money would not be an issue in eliminating Belinda, who has the power to fully expose him. Belinda will have to tread lightly at the White Lotus Thai resort if she decides to probe into Gary's past and confront him about it. Doing so would essentially put her life at risk, which would then raise the question of how far Belinda is willing to go to have Greg face justice. At this point in the series, Belinda believes that Tanya died by suicide, which she could look into as well. The situation is quite ominous after 3 episodes. Belinda also wasn't Tanya's friend, so it's not like she feels compelled to avenge her. Perhaps Greg could keep Belinda quiet by offering her the money Tanya falsely promised to open her dream wellness center but reneged on. Is Greg going to die in the White Lotus Season 3? He's a top candidate to be involved in the impending shooting. Many viewers would rejoice to see Greg face justice, even if he weren't exposed for trying to kill Tanya, but instead just died in the series. I wouldn't suggest that Belinda kills him, since that seems very out of her character and she doesn't have a strong motive, but it seems as though Gary's days are numbered. Belinda could approach Chloe with the information she digs up on Greg's past. In that case, Chloe's response will reveal a lot about her character, since there's a strong chance Chloe is well aware of Gary's shady past but doesn't care as long as she can live off his money. My money is on Gary somehow facing justice in the White Lotus Season 3, even if it's completely random and impersonal, such as him being a victim in the shootout. Regardless, pitting Belinda against Greg will surely bring a lot of tension and suspense to the White Lotus Season 3.